Parent Guide: Supporting your baby in week 3. If this week feels harder than the first two, you are not imagining it, and you are not doing anything wrong. Week 3 is genuinely one of the most demanding weeks of newborn parenting. But there are specific things you can do to get through it with more confidence and less exhaustion. Welcome back to Tiny Steps Weekly. In our baby development video this week, we talked about why week 3 is so demanding. The rapid brain growth, the peak in crying, the increased sensitivity to stimulation. Today, we are going to focus on what you can actually do about it. This is a practical video. I want to give you tools, real, evidence-based strategies for managing the particular challenges of week 3, supporting your baby's development, and protecting your own well-being. Let's get into it. Your primary focus in week 3 shifts slightly from the basics of feeding and survival to something more nuanced: learning to read your baby's cues. By now, you have had 3 weeks of close observation of your specific baby. You are beginning, even if you don't fully realize it yet, to develop a feel for their patterns. When they are hungry versus tired, when they are overstimulated versus simply needing contact, when a cry means something urgent, and when it means something can wait a moment. This week, I want to encourage you to consciously practice cue reading. Before you respond to your baby's crying, take 3 seconds to observe. What does their body look like? Are they rooting, turning their head, bringing hands to mouth? That is likely hunger. Are they arching their back, stiffening, turning away from stimulation? That is likely overstimulation or discomfort. Are they yawning, rubbing their face, becoming glassy-eyed? That is tiredness. The more precisely you can identify what your baby needs, the more effectively you can meet it. This is not about being a perfect parent. It is about building a relationship. You are learning your baby's language, and your baby is learning that you are listening. Because week 3 often brings an increase in crying, I want to give you a practical toolkit for managing it. The 5 S's, a framework developed by pediatrician Dr. Hart, are one of the most well-supported approaches to soothing a fussy newborn. They work by replicating the sensory environment of the womb, which your baby's nervous system still recognizes as safe. The 5 S's are swaddling, side or stomach position while held; shushing, swinging, and sucking. Used together, particularly in sequence, they can be remarkably effective. Wrap your baby snugly in a swaddle. Hold them on their side against your chest. Make a loud shushing sound near their ear. Gently sway or jiggle, and offer a pacifier or finger to suck. For many babies, this combination triggers what Dr. Hart calls the calming reflex, a neurological off switch for crying. White noise is another evidence-based tool for week 3. Continuous, moderate volume white noise, roughly the volume of a shower running, mimics the sounds of the womb and activates the same calming response. A white noise machine, a fan, or a white noise app can all work. White noise also helps babies stay asleep longer by masking sudden environmental sounds that might startle them awake. Motion is deeply soothing to newborns because it replicates the constant movement they experienced in the womb. Gentle rocking, swaying, walking with your baby held against your chest, or a short car ride, all of these can help regulate an overstimulated nervous system. Baby carriers and wraps are particularly useful this week, as they allow you to provide continuous motion and contact while keeping your hands free. One important note: if you are feeling overwhelmed by persistent crying and you sense that your frustration is escalating, Please put your baby down in a safe place, their crib or bassinet, and take a few minutes to step away and breathe. It is always safe to put a crying baby down. It is never safe to shake a baby. If you are reaching a breaking point, ask for help. Call your partner, a family member, a friend, or a helpline. There is no shame in needing support. Sleep in week 3 remains fragmented and unpredictable for most families. Your baby is still sleeping in short cycles, and the increased fussiness of this week can make settling to sleep more difficult than it was in the first 2 weeks. One concept worth introducing this week is the awake window. At 3 weeks of age, your baby can comfortably stay awake for approximately 45 minutes to 1 hour before becoming overtired. Overtiredness is one of the most common reasons babies become difficult to settle. When the nervous system has been awake too long, it enters a state of stress that makes sleep harder to achieve, not easier. Watching for your baby's sleepy cues. Yawning, slowing movements, glazed eyes, turning away from stimulation, and beginning your settling routine as soon as you see them will help prevent the overtired spiral. You do not need a formal sleep schedule at 3 weeks, but becoming aware of your baby's awake window is a practical tool that can make a real difference to settling. The sleep environment also matters more this week as your baby becomes more sensitive to stimulation. A dark room, white noise at a consistent volume, and a comfortable temperature, between 68 and 72 degrees Fahrenheit, create the conditions most conducive to newborn sleep. Swaddling remains appropriate and helpful at this age for most babies, as it reduces the startle reflex that often wakes babies prematurely. Amid the challenges of week 3, it is easy to lose sight of the fact that something beautiful is also happening. Your relationship with your baby is deepening every day. Face-to-face time during your baby's alert windows is more valuable this week than ever. Your baby's vision is sharpening, and they are increasingly engaged by your face. Try this. Hold your baby in front of you, faces about 10 inches apart, and slowly and exaggeratedly change your expression. Smile. Raise your eyebrows. Open your mouth in surprise. Watch your baby's face carefully. You may notice them studying your expressions with intense focus and occasionally attempting to mirror what they see. This imitative behavior is one of the earliest signs of social learning, and it is deeply meaningful. Talking to your baby during caregiving continues to be one of the most powerful developmental investments you can make. This week, try adding more emotional language to your narration. Not just "now I'm changing your diaper," but "I can see you don't love having your diaper changed. I know. We're almost done." This kind of emotional attunement, naming your baby's apparent emotional states, is a key component of sensitive parenting, and it has lasting effects on emotional development. Massage continues to be a wonderful bonding tool in week 3. If your baby tolerates it well, try a short, gentle massage after a warm bath, using light, circular strokes on the back and legs. Research supports infant massage as a tool for reducing cortisol, improving sleep, and strengthening the parent-infant bond. If your baby shows signs of discomfort or overstimulation during massage, stop and try again another time. The most common mistake I see in week 3 is parents inadvertently overstimulating their baby in an attempt to soothe them. When a baby is crying and nothing seems to work, the instinct is often to try more. More movement, more sound, more interaction, more stimulation. But for an already overstimulated baby, Adding more input can make things significantly worse. If your baby is crying and you have ruled out hunger, discomfort, and the need to be held, consider trying less stimulation rather than more. Dim the lights, reduce noise, swaddle firmly, and hold quietly without talking or rocking. Sometimes the most effective thing you can do is create stillness. Another common mistake this week is abandoning tummy time because the baby protests. At 3 weeks, most babies will protest tummy time to some degree. It is hard work for a small body with limited neck strength, but skipping it altogether will slow the development of the muscles your baby needs for all future motor milestones. Persist with short, regular sessions. Get down on the floor at their level. Make it interactive. Even 2 minutes of tummy time, 3 times a day, is enough to make a difference this week. Finally, avoid the temptation to compare this week to last week and conclude that things are going backward. Week 3 is harder than weeks 1 and 2 for most families. Not because of anything you have done or not done, but because of the normal developmental trajectory of the newborn nervous system. This is a phase with a predictable arc. It will peak and it will pass. Something I have noticed consistently over the years is that parents who struggle most in week 3 are often those who are trying hardest to do everything right and who interpret their baby's crying as evidence that they are failing. I want to offer a reframe. Your baby's crying this week is not a report card on your parenting. It is a developmental event happening in your baby's nervous system. You did not cause it, and you cannot make it stop entirely. What you can do is be present, be responsive, and be consistent. And that is, in fact, exactly what your baby's developing brain needs from you right now. The parents who come through week 3 with the most resilience are usually those who have let go of the idea that they should be able to fix the crying and have instead focused on simply being with their baby through it. That shift from fixing to accompanying is one of the most important things a new parent can learn. A question I hear a great deal in week 3 is it okay to use a pacifier? Will it affect breastfeeding? The research on pacifiers is nuanced. For breastfeeding families, the general guidance from the American Academy of Pediatrics is to wait until breastfeeding is well established, typically around 3 to 4 weeks, before introducing a pacifier. If breastfeeding is going well and your milk supply is established, a pacifier is unlikely to cause problems, and it can be a very useful soothing tool. Pacifiers have also been shown in multiple studies to reduce the risk of SIDS when used at sleep times, which is a meaningful benefit. For formula feeding families, there is no reason to delay pacifier introduction if it helps with soothing. If you are unsure about your specific situation, please discuss it with your lactation consultant or pediatrician. Every feeding journey is different, and personalized guidance is more useful than a blanket rule. Week 3 is hard. I am not going to tell you otherwise. But I want to put it in perspective. You are 3 weeks into one of the most demanding, disorienting, and profoundly transformative experiences of your life. You are doing it on very little sleep. You are learning an entirely new set of skills in real time, with no practice run. And yet, here you are, showing up, feeding, holding, soothing, responding, day after day, night after night. That is not nothing. That is everything. The bond you are building with your baby right now, through every feed, every soothing session, every moment of eye contact in the small hours of the morning, is one of the most important relationships either of you will ever have. It is being built slowly, imperfectly, and beautifully. Trust the process. Trust yourself. Week 3 is one of the toughest stretches of new parenthood, and you are in the middle of it. Keep going. Next week, we will talk about what happens at 4 weeks. A week that, for many families, begins to feel like the first glimmer of light at the end of the newborn tunnel. Subscribe to Tiny Steps Weekly so you never miss a video. We are here with you every step of the way, from birth to age 5. Because every tiny step matters.